to talk to us. Like, I think sometimes people are frightened too, so yeah. Yeah, so we'll walk into it. You can ask anything. We'll laugh and cry at any questions. I think we've got this guy in cosplay. I think he deserves to play it right. That's the hero outfit as well. That's the hero shirt. So.
Took me long enough to earn it.
Excellent. Okay, fire away.
You mentioned how you were implementing the button system to bring up your gun. What else are you implementing, if at all, to attempt to prevent the kill on-site mentality that often defines the mod as it is right now?
Yeah, it's a very relevant question because it's a very important one for us. I think everybody who enjoys DayZ can see that they really, nobody wants it to be sort of a kill on site thing. So, it's been an important thing for us. So basically what we're looking at doing is we feel that we don't actually want to force players not to be able to do it. And in fact, we're worried that this hold a button down to raise your weapon is too much. So we're actually developing two systems, and we're going to ditch one. So we would rather add more to do. And I think the combined medical problems, you get cholera, you can have, break bones, you can develop dietary problems and drug dependencies on morphine. So it's going to make being a doctor or having access to medical facilities quite important. And so we're hoping that we won't have to deal to it. I think it's like hacking. It's something we're going to have to watch constantly. And that's where we need feedback from you guys when we get the alpha. Is it still going to be kill on site with all this added complexity? Or what we're kind of hoping is that the clan system becomes really crucial. But we don't want to force it. So I hope we get this.
I just have a quick question on the base building system. My hero has been alive for months because I gathered my supplies and headed off into the woods and only go in town at night with night vision when no one's around. If I build a base on my own, how do I secure that? Can I lock a door? Can I take over a house and barricade? Because I look at Wasteland where I look at things like Wasteland where you have to drive across the map, grab 80 tons of sand. A single player wouldn't do that. So would barricading houses be an option for solo players?
Yeah, well, what we're looking at doing is, again, we don't want to sort of force any particular gameplay. And what I think is unique about DayZ is sometimes it gives the players challenges that the designers, that we've made, and we don't know the answer to. So I don't know how players are going to defend the underground bases. We are going to give players tools. So Armour actually has its own in-game scripting engine, and while we're ripping it out in terms of client side for normal stuff, we're looking at repurposing it for the base building so that you can build your own security systems. It's kind of like in Minecraft, you build your circuitry and stuff. Like, how fun is that? Like, I think I nearly got like charged in the army because I missed work a few times just about because I was playing Minecraft. So we're looking at doing that. And we're going to provide some tools, but I think it's going to be a real challenge, and certainly particularly for a solo player, you'll have to make sure you hide it well. So it's still very early in the design to really define that, but I guess the short answer is we're going to make the players have to figure out how to use the tools we've given them to defend it.
Thank you, gentlemen, very much.
Thanks.
Are you guys worried that the awesome things you guys are doing to make the game better in a traditional sense might strip out, sterilize some of the quirky, fun, crazy stuff that you had to do in the beginning to learn and acquire that learning curve, cross that learning curve? Do you think that, are you worried about that? And if you are you doing anything? What are you doing to work?
Yeah, basically. I think that's a relevant point, but we're really committed to experimenting with it. I think there's very few opportunities in the video game industry where you kind of get just try whatever you want. And that's kind of where we're at. So we're kind of exploiting that. So we're really just going to experiment, and if something doesn't work, then we try something else. So yeah, I think that's a real danger, and that's why we need to push the alpha out, like really quickly.
Cool, thanks.
Hello. One of my favorite parts of the game is trading. How are you going to implement traded into the game? Because right now, like, you put stuff into your backpack and like stealing stuff. Are you like on the whole like, menu?
Yeah, actually our CEO, Mark Spaniel, awesome guy. Like he's really big on this as well. So we've decided we're going to implement a trading screen. Exactly how it looks and works, we're not sure. Probably what we're going to have is, and we've mocked up the rough design of it, is your stuff will be on one side, and then you can drag it into like this shared pool. So you have your shared pool, they have their shared pool, you drag it in there. And so there's still going to be an element of you could like screw someone over, but it's not like they'll be able to, it's not like putting it on the ground at the moment where it's all a bit crazy. So we are going to have a screen for it because we recognise that we kind of need to have it. You model the whole, okay, I put this out in my hand and you give it to me with this hand and we very quickly swap it and then try and beat each other with their rifles.
Second question. Can I trade you a can of beans for your autograph and picture after this?
Sure, yeah, no problem.
I was going to say that I put about 300 over 300 hours in this mod, some of the best and worst times in playing video games ever. And I think me and everyone else in this room really just wants to know the question that has been on everyone's mind is, who is shooting in Chernobyl?
It's true. I don't know, I want to see the guys.
All of the people. We've all done it at some time. Yeah.
You'll be able to find out because you'll be able to play some radio. And you'll be able to
Alright, well, my real question is, one thing that we were into with the mod, with the server hopping and stuff, being a serious issue, jumping around, what do you guys plan to do about server hopping or server infrastructure? Have you thought about that yet?
Yeah, another relevant question, one the streamers brought up with us last night. And so we're looking at dealing to it, in similar ways to like World of Warcraft. And there was a really good suggestion thread on Reddit, and I've got that bookmarked. And pretty much when we come to it, we're going to deal with that. We haven't looked at it at the moment because we need to tidy up the server client thing first. Because and I guess that architecture makes it very easy for us to deal with stuff. We prototyped a system to use with the mod, but we found that it kind of went Skynet on us and started going crazy, so we didn't implement it with the mod. Where the central server is able to detect if you're server hopping, and it issues you a warning and says, okay, you have been hopping through servers. If you do it again, we're going to lock you out for 5 minutes and that kind of stuff. But I think the strongest thing we can do is keep the player's body alive for 10 or 20 seconds. I think, we had the idea come out last night that we were given by the streamers so that we have it so that you start off on the ground asleep and you have to get up, play an animation and get up off the ground. So you're going to be vulnerable for that first time. Actually solved the problem we have at the moment where the server creates your avatar, tells you you're in it, and then there's a delay while your game loads, like 10 seconds or so, and so we're like, oh, what happens because you're getting shot? Now we can explain away that and call it a feature, because you can... Please don't tell anyone that, guys. It's just between us.
Thanks. First, I'd like to say thank you for creating probably the most intense emotional experience I could ever find in a game. So thank you very much for that. My question is, when my favorite part of the game is about that 1 to 5 seconds where you see somebody. You look at them, they look at you, and you're like, do they see me? Yes, they do. And after they see you, are they going to kill me? No, they're not. And then you either have a friend or you have an enemy. So I'm wondering, you added you showed us where you could either have your gun down for the most part, and then if you want to shoot someone, you bring it up, and then that's kind of a cue. What if you don't see the person, say they're behind you, and are you going to have any sort of kind of like direct communication, but more like a whisper, where say if you're really close to them, you would hear them, but if someone is 2 meters away, they don't. Have you guys thought about a closer direct chat?
Yeah, well, there was something that came out with in Reddit, and I think the forums as well. And so what we've looked at doing, so as our programmer Beetle has been going through and writing this radio, he's also identified that one of our options is to create two forms of direct chat. So that there's kind of a whisper direct chat that's very much just sort of five meters or so. We haven't confirmed it for this stage because it's reasonably high priority in terms of where we're at right now, but it's definitely on the design schedule. You know.
Cool. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Okay, now when you have a gun and you have the mags and clips for it, you get down to 1 bullet left, and then you have like the thing with 7 bullets. Are you going to be able to put the 1 bullet with one that has 7 bullets? That is really, really annoying.
Yeah. So one of the advantages of what we've done is we ripped out the whole inventory system. So the whole way that ammunition works. If there's any armor modders out there, they'll know that weapons are recorded as strings in armor. In DayZ, they're objects. So we can do all sorts of crazy things with it, not just recording the fingerprints, recording whether it's got color on it, and all that kind of stuff. So we can also have it, so we're having it that magazines are actually an entity. So you actually take ammunition and you put it in your magazine. So you can fill up a magazine. So if you've only got 1 magazine and 3,000 bullets, after you've emptied that magazine, you're actually going to need to put more bullets in it, so it's going to delay you. So finding magazines is going to be quite important. And one of the actions we've added to magazine is to strip out the bullets from it. So if you've got one round in that, you can pull it out and put it back in your pile of ammunition.
Alright, thank you.
Hey.
G'day.
So I found my biggest dilemma in the game is after I've gotten my AS-50 and my night vision and everything, I played legit. But, what are you doing to make it so at the end game, how to change the mentality from just going to the shore with your car or whatever and just running over new people? Rather than, instead of that, like, besides the underground bases and everything, is there anything you're going to implement in order to still have fun with the game without ruining other people's times?
Yeah, I think this is an interesting experience we faced with Space Station 13 as well. Like, we get a lot of inspiration from other games. We play a lot of games with the streamers and stuff, and it's a lot of fun. So it's like, how do you balance that briefing versus the need for, people call it PvP, but I think it's something about beyond that. It's the threat of PvP. And how do we balance that? So the only thing we've really confirmed so far is we want to add in more stuff to do. And I think the requirement for social interaction is going to be much higher in the standalone. In the mod, you only really need someone to do a blood transfusion. We've totally revised the way blood transfusion work. We're looking at, and I'm hesitant to talk about it because if I say skills, everyone's just going to lock on to skills. But we don't want to have skills as in how people think of them. You earn XP and you spend the XP. We want to have it that if you practice an advanced mechanic, that you get better at that advanced mechanic. So that he's happy. He's happy. So because we want to emphasize certain social interactions. So, geez, I could talk about this for a long time, but like, so that some people can become doctors or advanced mechanics in that. We talked about it for ages with the streamers last time, for like about an hour or something. So I guess the short answer is, I think you're exactly right. There's a lot we need to do. It's not going to be there in the alpha. And I think we need to manage people's expectations there. We have to get the alpha out soon so we confirm that the controls aren't cracked and that everything doesn't crash too often. And then we'll get to the end game stuff. But we've got 12 months from the first day we do the alpha of Minecraft style development. So I think we'll get there.
Cool, thanks. I'm excited.
How you doing? I got a couple of questions. First one is kind of problem/benefit. A lot of times the servers get kind of saturated with a lot of the high power weapons. I know private hive servers have probably crash sites spawning before hours, and it kind of like takes away kind of the fun of having that kind of Hunger Games cornucopia feel where everyone's kind of starting off basic, like that first round of Counter-Strike when everyone only has pistols. Instead, it's like you spawn in a new server and everyone's got the high power stuff. I was wondering, are you going to try to mess with the probabilities, make it that those type of weaponry wear out faster with the weather, make it a lot harder to reach? I was wondering what you guys were thinking about doing with stuff.
Yeah, I guess we're kind of dealing with that on multiple fronts. On the one hand, DayZ is going to go right back to its roots, because we have to get those right first. So it's not going to be about advanced weaponry. The only advanced weapons that are going to be in is the ones with attachments. So we're doing the M4, because anyone familiar with the M4 will know it has a heck of a lot of attachments. Like you're going to be able to change the well,
It's like Barbie for men.
Yes. Barbie for men, thanks. Yeah, so we're changing the buttstock and different kinds of magazines and scopes and stuff like that. So, but they're going to be exceptionally hard to find. So really, even finding a pistol is going to be difficult. So I think that deals with it. A lot of people, quite relevantly, I think someone like totally nailed me on Reddit or somewhere, or on some comment somewhere saying, how dare I come from modding and then we disable modding. But we have to, because we've got to deal with the hackers. So we want to bring modding in later, but for a start, we've just got to say, okay, we've dealt with the hacking problem, and then we go, cool, right, now we can go to the modders. And I like to think we're trying to stay quite close to the modders, and I think that, there was a really good thread on Reddit that talked about, how DayZ's taking too long, and the DayZ mod has gone way off in this crazy direction. But I think both those things are good, particularly the mod going and doing all this other stuff, because that way we've explored some of the things we don't want to do. We know what those are now, so we can avoid them. So I don't think that's going to be a problem to stand on. I think that definitely for a start, it's going to be really grim, way more like the road than the book and the movie than the mod. Way more like that.
My next question is along the line of the difficulty, because right now zombies, once you learn the game, really aren't a factor. And I wanted to know, are you guys going to, a lot of us watch The Walking Dead and stuff like that, and there's hordes that just kind of rove around. Or, if you're running through the woods, right now you think you're good to go unless you ran into a random outhouse and there's two zombies, glass and whatever. I want to know if you're running through the woods and all of a sudden you run into a pack of 50, and if one sees you and starts making noise, it alerts the other one, so now you have to deal with an actual threat, because it is DayZ.
Yep.
And I feel like the zombies were only a factor when the first time I played, and then after that you learn to just crouch in a pine tree and you can't touch it.
There's some good cartoons on YouTube about that. Yeah, so I totally know where you're coming from. And I don't think, we need to manage people's expectations. The zombies are not going to be anywhere near perfect when the alpha comes out. Something we're quite concerned about is the way AI works inside the buildings is using a path log. So they're kind of on rails when they're going around inside a building. We want to remove that and have the zombies do something much more organic, but we don't want to delay the alpha to do that. So zombies are like hacking. They're going to be an ongoing thing, but we've done a lot of work on the zombie AI pathfinding, and having the zombies controlled by the server means we don't have to despawn them. So it means we can have roving zombies, the zombies will keep your scent and follow you for miles and stuff like that. So I think we'll deal with that one.
And just a quick question on the pace of play. I'm a big fan, I know a lot of people aren't, about, it takes time to crouch, takes time to go prone, it takes time to put stuff in your backpack. Because, I do a lot of hiking, a lot of long, hunts, I do a lot of paintballing. It does take time to crouch, it takes energy, you get tired. Taking your bow or your rifle out of your bag to, just break camp and go off and, hunt for turkey or something, it takes time. And I'm a fan of the slower kind of inventory, even though, it sucks when you have to leave the gun by accident.
I definitely see your point.
I feel like a lot of games like Call of Duty, it gets way away from that, which is, it's like, oh bang, crouch. It's not like that. We don't have thunder thighs. We can't
I think we need a balance between the two. We've got to find that sweet spot. I think DayZ, based on armor, was too far in the other direction. Who was it who did the review that was really funny? You said it was armor was kind of like walking around with a washing machine strapped to your back, really janky. Yeah, no, it was a single bread, it was something else. It was escapist. Zero punctuation, yeah. I think you really nailed it with that comment. So we like to think we've dealt with that. We need to introduce some delay. So for example, off that quick bar, if you select something from your backpack, you crouch down and it takes much longer for you to get it. But if you take something out of your pockets, it's quite quick. So again, I think that's something we're going to have to go on. But,
Alright, thanks guys.
thanks.
Hey guys.
Hey.
I just have a quick question and a suggestion.
Yep.
So my question is about the melee system and shock system. So say I have a baseball bat and sneak up behind someone, can I knock him out and then beat the shit out of him?
You sure can, you're sarcastic. We're looking at like this. I'm going to say stealth bonus, but that sounds a bit gamey. But basically, yeah, that's the whole reason. Like my favourite item in game is the motorbike helmet. I don't know why. It's just cool.
All right. So my suggestion is, have you guys thought about maybe adding like a drag body feature so we could like hide bodies?
Yeah, I don't know whether that's going to make it into the alpha because it just requires a lot of animation synchronization. Like on the initial release, it's the kind of thing that we're going to look at once we push it out. We're really conscious that we need to get people, the early adopters, playing it to make sure we're not heading in the right direction. But we definitely want to add that kind of interaction. But I think it'll be a bit later on.
Sweet. Thanks for making your
Thanks. Thanks for beating people with a baseball bat.
So, I know the game is really based around like surviving in the environment, and like the zombies is kind of just like a part of that survival mode. And so, I know that like in the game, animals are kind of just like these things that just stand there, and they're just a resource for food. What about if animals become a threat? Also, have you thought about that? Like,
yeah, we really want to do that. I'm going to rush through these questions because I want to try and get these guys done. So basically, the problem we have is trying to synchronize the animation. We're using our own animation system. We'd love to use Euphoria, but it's like $1 million, and you've got to give them like your 3 children. Maybe we could use that guy with the baseball bat. And I'm totally not going to be able to leave the country now. So yeah, we want to do that. It's something we're going to look at a bit. The hunting element is going to be expanded a lot more, and we want to kind of have like dogs and stuff being a bit more of a threat. But it's a lot more work than we expected because you've got to get the dog synchronizing. Otherwise, it looks like the dog is attacking an invisible person. So yeah, it's a yes, but it's going to require quite a bit of work for us.
thank you.
I just want to say, keep my eyes up on the news, and I'm glad to say Bohemian got Ivan and Martin back.
Yeah, very glad.
Great news for that. The question I had is, I know there's been some talk in the forums about heat maps and who's going where, when they're going there. I know from heavy helicopter, AS-50, all that stuff. The only place I wanted to go to was Northwest Airfield, looking for helicopters, maybe Starry sometimes. And it kept me from going to a lot of the area of the map. I didn't see that stuff. So as you guys get the inventory system worked up, and what's spawning where for loot, making sure that are you guys looking to make sure that people have reason to go to these other areas, and
Yeah, exactly. Look, that's a good point. So basically, every building and every rig in the whole map spawns items. I think it's nearly 120,000 items in total can potentially spawn. So what we're going to do is, because everything can spawn something, we lower the percentage right down. So it means that particularly, I didn't get a chance to show it, but I think you can kind of see it in the really crappy production value dev blog, of those big apartment buildings that we've added near Cherno. So you're going to be able to go inside all those. They're going to be really derelict, but you can search for stuff. So scavenging is going to become crucial. Ivan is actually kind of our creative consultant, and he's overseeing the addition of massive new areas to the map, like prisons and northern airfield. The whole northern sector of the map is getting an overhaul.
My home.
Southwest, yeah. But there's a lot of just forest there that's kind of useless, so they're redoing that. And we're also getting a new satellite data to add much more high fidelity textures and stuff. So we're really expanding that area. So cool.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
So you said that you wanted to increase or boost the clan system. So are you going to add any kind of grouping system where you can spawn on your friends, or at least know where they are, or anything like that?
Yeah, we've thought about it, but we need to sort of think about it a bit more. We're a bit worried about removing the whole dynamic of you having these adventures when you try and find the other person. So it's something we're going to look at beyond Alpha.
Thank you.
Hey, I have a tech question. Okay, so Arma 3 just came out, and it's obviously being worked alongside DayZ Standalone. What are some of the biggest features from the Arma 3 engine that you're going to be putting in the DayZ Standalone?
We'd love to have underwater. We'd love to have underwater. Our night looks terrible in DayZ at the moment, just awful. Like, your eyes would bleed if we showed you it. It's because we played with the daytime shaders and then totally forgot about the night. So, oops, sorry. And night's kind of important for DayZ. So, we've got a lot of work to do there. We've learned a lot from the Arma 3 team in terms of controls, and that's where we kidnapped some of their members and forced them to work on our control system. Well, there's a bunch of stuff. I'll try and, I unfortunately need to do this last guy, and so I'll try and post that on Reddit or something. I'll read it.
Thank you so much.
Quick question. Since you're going to be focusing a lot more on melee, are you going to be able to, say, hit someone with the butt of your gun or fist fight with someone and grapple someone?
Yeah, so we've got the prototype for Fist working to end. But we were thinking of having it so that if you push your trigger button when you're close to someone and you've got a rifle, that you'll bash them. We're just a bit worried about the whole GE for a grenade issue with Arma 2. You know, close to someone, you accidentally push the left mouse button and you smash your buddy with the buddy rifle. So there's some issues to resolve with it, but yes, yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
Let's give a round of applause to DayZ.
Cool, so we'll be outside, we'll be around on the floor, so over the next day or so, so just come and say hi, so we're happy